going to get started. Is your microphone on? Oh, is your microphone on?
I don't know.
Okay.
Checked.
Good. Before we get started on the data center ordinance, just one quick thing that Kelly had mentioned. Kelly and Grover are both at the Rotary meeting because the parade's this weekend. There is a broken gate at the dog park. Would you mind, Daryl, passing that on to Jim
Yeah.
and the guys to get that fixed? So we'll get that taken care of. The small dog side, it says, is broken. They rigged something, but it needs repair. And then, okay, so data center ordinance, you know, we've been going back and forth on this for quite some time. And it is very important to get this in place. But as you all know, it's very important that we have a ordinance in place that withstands the test of legality. Obviously, our goal is to protect both the residents and the township, but we do need to make sure that it's logical and enforceable. So our latest version, I think you all have that. We had talked last time about changing the acreage to 30 and the setback to 350 feet for buffers. We've had some more conversations with Deanna and Todd, and also had some Monroe County Planning Commission input on that, and we're still going back and forth on those numbers. So, Todd, would you mind filling everyone in on the thinking of the Planning Commission and the process that they go through?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the Planning Commission that you're talking about, I think, is the Monroe County Planning
Correct.
Commission. This has also been reviewed by the Barrett Township Planning Commission, and I was not at those meetings. So I spoke with one of the reviewers at the Monroe County Planning Commission just to get some unofficial feedback from them before we submit a draft for an official review. And what I was told was that they have a draft, a model ordinance that they have circulated and made available to the townships in the county to use if they want. And that ordinance does not have any particular, I don't believe it has any particular minimum acreage in it, but instead it ties in whatever the minimum acreage is in the particular zone where this use is permitted. So for instance, if it's this use is permitted in the township's industrial zone, then you would look to any minimum lot sizes in the industrial zoning district elsewhere in the ordinance. Barrett Township has a 2-acre minimum in the industrial zoning district. So you're proposing to make it somewhat larger than that. Anecdotally, what I was told from the Planning Commission reviewer is that most of the ordinances he's seen use either the underlying zoning ordinance lot minimum or up to 5 acres. He's seen one, I think, that is 10. So that's of the townships that have submitted to the Monroe County Planning Commission, I think that's what they have seen. I asked if there have been any studies or any sort of analysis or data to support any other sizes, and he was not aware of any in particular. So that's sort of the answer to that question, Tim.
So if anyone comes into us to do anything in an industrial district, and there are quite a few uses by right, like a different kind of business or even a residence, they're required, it's a 2-acre requirement for them. But we're asking the data center to, in this case, 30 acres.
Yes. Unless the ordinance has another minimum lot size that is tied into another particular use, they would need to meet the 2-acre minimum. I think the concern that I have from a legal standpoint with it being set too high, is that without a basis for doing this, I mean, when I say a basis, I mean a study, some sort of other analysis other than we just want it to be big because we want to restrict the number of available lots where this use can happen. That's a very problematic approach from the township's perspective because it opens us up to a challenge from a potential user who says that who wants to argue that this ordinance would be exclusionary. And even though you don't outlaw data centers directly, you're trying to indirectly outlaw them by making it such that there are only a handful or a couple of lots that are available where this use could happen, and therefore you're really not allowing the use in the township at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, if that kind of argument is made, the township is going to have to spend money in court defending that kind of argument. And if you lose in court and the judge rules that your ordinance is exclusionary, then they're going to be able to put it where they want. So it kind of defeats the purpose of going through this process of enacting an ordinance because your ordinance will be struck down and you won't have an ordinance.
Right. So currently, if we were looking at the 30 acres, there's actually 8 parcels in that zone that are 30 acres plus. However, several of those cannot ever be built on, like the Pocono Heritage Land Trust property, the Railroad Authority, and there's probably a couple others in there that have streams going through them, et cetera. If we go to the highest one that the county has seen was 10. We're at 14 properties, but again, probably 3 or 4 of those come off the top, so we're down to 10 properties that we're looking at. So as far as exclusionary, if there's only 3 properties that are possible to be built on, and that's not even looking at the topography of those, if there's streams, if there's steep slopes, it could very well be exclusionary. So, Daryl, Patty, thoughts?
Well, I think that is a problem because, as Todd said, if we don't allow it, if we make our restrictions so severe at 30, then it's going to get thrown out. And it would go through litigation, it would be a big deal. So I'm looking at 6 that would be buildable if we do 7. And that includes 2 properties owned by Bestway, the Quarry, Cresco Realty has 2 properties, and the Hardy property. The Railroad Authority says it's 27 acres, but it's along the edge of the railroad tracks, so that's going to be out of it. So I think 10 would be reasonable. We have a
So
question.
my question is, what happens to the trees? Like, what are they gonna do to the trees? Because.
Okay,
I
we didn't get to that part yet.
We'll
We're just
address
doing
that.
acreage, but we do have a buffer where we're talking about what trees they have to leave. So we'll get to that. Right now, we're just looking at acreage.
Is it possible to incorporate language into the ordinance that would still require, even if the lot size should get challenged and we lose, that would still restrict it just to the industrial zone?
Or does
Because
it
when
make
you
the
say
whole
it
thing
can go
invalid?
anywhere, could it?
Well, I mean, if the ordinance is thrown out, Daryl, it would be up to the judge to decide whether it should be thrown out in its entirety or whether some parts of it can be saved. I mean, we typically try to build in savings clauses to all the ordinances that the township adopts, and how they work is that if there's a part of the ordinance that is determined to be unenforceable or unconstitutional or some legal problem with it, the rest of the ordinance would remain in effect. So yes, that's the initial answer to that question, but I don't know how that would work in practice if,
Yeah,
if we have a 50-acre minimum or a 30-acre minimum, the court strikes that down, maybe their answer would be, okay, you'd have any size, but it has to be in the industrial, and you have to apply to all the other portions of the ordinance. I mean, that certainly would be a reasonable argument. That's what we'd want to argue if we're put in that position. But I can't guarantee that that's what the judge would do.
Carol?
Could it not be considered that we are a smaller township and we don't have a big industrial area? So how can we accommodate that? And then I also wanted to show you these because I happen to be near a place that has this already. And this is the other part that PP&L comes into. Not counting that are these towers.
Well, I'm not sure how that would factor in this, because if I'm understanding you correctly, man, you're saying, that the court or someone challenging this should be sympathetic to the township because we are smaller in geography and we don't have a lot of industrially zoned properties. But that takes us back to the choice that we're making here in determining that this use has to be in the industrial district. That's our choice. That's the township's choice. So
Well, I thought that was
there
part
are
of
other
the rule.
districts. There are other districts that it could potentially go in.
This is all extra. It
This
is not
probably makes the
included
most
in the
sense, but we
30
have to be
acres.
mindful of how much actual land there is. And there needs to be a reasonable opportunity to actually construct this use where we say it has to go.
Understood.
Grant?
So Todd, are you recommending that we do the 2 acres since that's what we already have in the industrial zone?
I don't know that I would go that far, Grant. I mean, I think that, I would say our ceiling should be 10.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to go to 2. I mean, I think 2 just takes that issue off the table. Just, it's not treated any differently than any other use
Right.
in the industrial district. They all have to comply with the 2 acres. When we add another hurdle for this particular use, the burden's on us to justify, well, why?
So 2 is our minimal liability, but 10 would be
I think
something
we
we
can get
can
by
argue.
with 10. Yeah, I mean, we have a better argument with 10 in that there are at least one other township on 10.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay,
And I did get input from Grover, who agreed with going with the county recommendation of 10 acres. So,
okay.
you
Are
good
we
with that?
agreed?
Daryl, you good
Daryl?
with 10?
Yeah?
Okay, so we're at 10 acres then.
All right, so 10 acres on that. And then the second is the 350-foot buffer. The county recommended 250. We had language in there to include the landscaping. I think they might have had the landscaping an extra 25 outside the buffer, but I know our language did say the landscaping is inside the buffer, so that's something we should decide, is the landscaping within the 250 or extra?
Oh, I thought the landscaping was the 250.
Included in the 250.
Yeah.
And that's how the
And
county
if
ones
it's
are.
forest, I think we had that in there. If it was forest, it had to stay undisturbed.
Mhm.
And then if it was an open field, they had to plant
Yes,
evergreens.
evergreens, yep.
And there's a whole list of specifics about how many and how big they should be, and
I think that starts on page 3 and goes.
Page 3,
And goes
yes.
forward from there.
If
So,
I could just chime in on this.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just trying to share as much information as possible. I'm not
appreciate that.
trying to put any spin on it here. The comment from the Monroe County Planning Commission on this was that their focus was the buffer when the lot in question bordered against a residential zone. So I don't, I'm not sure, I don't have the map in front of me of the entire industrial district in Barrett Township, but if there's any potential lots that are bordered against a residential district, then that's where you probably really want to make sure you're focused on the buffer.
Right.
You're focusing on the buffer. I mean, if it's against another industrial use, well, then maybe you don't care as much. But
Yeah, there's-
certainly somebody living there, you're
Right.
going to care more.
There's quite a few that are sharing a border with the residential district, but there's also some properties with the residential use inside the industrial. There's homes in there. So I think the 250 across the board would cover both the bordering and within the zone.
Fair enough.
Patty, agree?
Yeah, I agree with
Daryl?
that. So,
Yeah, well, if we go down to 10 acres, then
We have to decrease that.
250 feet, yes.
Yes.
okay. So
Yes.
we're agreed
So are
on
you saying
250
those
feet.
people who are in that district or that
Okay.
property that have those,
I'm sorry, would you mind I can't really hear you.
okay. Where's the?
There's a
Oh, right here.
microphone,
Oh, I don't know if it's on.
which has a little thing to.
Right
turn
over
on.
here.
Okay, thanks.
It's on.
It's on.
So you're saying like the 10 acres that is involved, are there homes there? Would those people have to give up their homes?
Oh, absolutely
no,
not. No, we're
This
just talking
is
about
if-
protecting those
if-
with the buffer.
There's a piece of property there that somebody wants to sell, they can sell it. But none of this says that a data center can just come in and take your house.
Right.
They
And-
can't.
And like behind where Hardytown Road is, there's a swampland all in there. Like, we walk through there to get to the mansion, and it's all forest area right now. But
Where's Hardy Town on here? Is it
during the
even in
winter,
industrial?
it's swamp,
Is it over here?
it's swampland. So if they take that area,
I think it's
they'll
back in
take
here.
swampland.
Well,
That's not good.
Yeah, this is Hardytown.
Prior to coming in
Oh, this
to
is right on.
apply
This is
for a
the road.
conditional use, and the other thing to remember is that it's going to be a conditional use. So in addition to the language that will be hard written into this, we can make reasonable conditions on the approval of their application. But part of what they would have to do is a full environmental assessment of the property. And any of those kinds of environmental constraints, wetlands, steep slopes, stream banks, floodplains, all that kind of stuff, they would have to show how they were going to minimize or not impact those areas at all. So they would come in with that already on a map. They would map all of that. And then they would show how they could fit their proposed development within that property while still protecting those resources.
Okay.
Any other comments on the buffers? The other thing, which I'm not sure if it made it in here, Todd, there was a requirement under the emergency, in the emergency management section. Grover had requested if they're utilizing, I think, nuclear power, that they would have to provide special protection for the fire company. I don't know that made it in here.
I don't know if Deanna's on the call.
Yeah, it was-
I believe she drafted those new sections for the emergency management.
Is
Is she aware of that?
is Deanna on?
I didn't look at that. I'm on the call, but I
Okay.
did not know there was a section on that.
Well, what he was specifically requesting was that they have on-site fire suppressant foam.
Yeah, 55-gallon drum of Class A foam for provided to the fire company on an annual basis. So we'll need to add that in there.
was on page 11, fire protection plan.
Yeah, I don't think that made it into the
No.
stuff. So we'll do the,
That's something that can be added.
Yeah, we can-
That
we can
sounds
add-
like a pretty specific
yeah, we can
thing
add
to
that, we can
and
add that in
As long
there.
as Deanna gets the right information, she can plug that in.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I don't think there was any other notes. You guys have anything else on that?
Let me just take a quick look.
And this final draft has to go one more time to the planning commission.
So, yeah, so after that fire, these numbers will be adjusted, the fire requirement will be added in, and then it will be sent to our planning commission and the county planning commission, and they have 30 days to review. And then we'll schedule a hearing.
Okay, I did find something else. On page 13, we had talked about the decibel levels and the
Oh,
fact
right,
that
that didn't get changed either.
they're not going to turn it down at night and stop using
Right.
data, so
And
we
it's gonna
need
be
to
set at
change
1
the
all day.
generators,
All day level, was it? What-
The-
did you have it?
yeah.
The
the
57.
total
57.
day at 57,
Okay.
total day and night.
Okay. So I will email these changes to, who's making the, Deanna or Todd? Or I can do it, it doesn't matter.
Well, I can make the changes that we're discussing tonight, except for the one that related to the emergency management. Then I'll send it to you and you can get it to Deanna.
Okay, sounds good. Did we have a question somewhere?
You answered it, I was gonna ask about the.
That does,
next level.
okay, thank you.
There's a question for Tom.
Okay.
Will big data companies who challenge the ultimate ordinance and litigation have access to the minutes of board meetings, board workshops, and planning commission meetings, or the types of limitations that can be placed on data center development being discussed?
They're published after they're approved,
Yeah.
so they would be able to see those.
Yeah.
Correct, Todd?
Yeah, they're public records.
Yeah. Any other questions?
If I could just say, just to expand on your explanation, Pam, about the process of adopting it. Everything you said was right, except there's one asterisk that I would add, which is that the version of the ordinance that you end up referring to the two planning commissions for their 30-day review period, if you end up making any changes at all to that ordinance that gets referred, then you need to go through that cycle again and give them another 30 days to look at the revised version. So that's why we've kind of put a lot of effort into, vetting this and discussing it publicly and getting input as much as possible, because, there's always a worry about delaying the ultimate enactment because you keep making changes
Right.
and keep adjusting small things. So not that you can't do it, you certainly can make more changes, but it just delays the
You're adding.
time when you can ultimately adopt it. You have to give another round of those 30-day reviews.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So at this point, can we approve it with the condition of the changes that we just talked about, and then it's done and it can go immediately to the planning commissions?
So we don't need a motion to send it to them. We can make these changes and send it to them, correct, to start the 30 days?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
all right.
Perfect. All right. Do we have any other public comment? Mary?
On page 13, on the bottom, number 5, it says that if they fail to remediate the violation for sound within 90 days, why are we giving them 90 days?
Good question. Todd, can we lessen that? 30 days? It may take something for them to remediate it, maybe building a wall.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the remediation process to be able to intelligently answer that. And I don't want to put Deanna on the spot, but maybe she knows.
Which one are you talking about, Eunice?
So on page
It's right, it's-
13,
19,
Like the very
8,
last thing before
5.
part 4.
So the owner,
What page are you on here?
we're on
Page 13,
13. Okay.
all the way at the bottom.
It's under noise control, the very last paragraph.
It just seems that there are a shorter time period for violations for members of the town for smaller things with their homes.
and
But you're
it may
giving
be,
the data center
it may
90
depend on
days.
what the remediation is. Again, if they have to like build a wall around their facility, is the 90 days for them to completely build that wall or just to start the process? I'm not quite sure of that. And I don't know if, I don't know if
So you're
the.
saying to change it to like within 30 days? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I probably have to do research. I know they can, build walls and do things like that. So if they're saying they have to remediate within 90 days, that's probably for the full construction or whatever they have to do.
right, right.
I mean, I can look up and see if there's other data on that. I'll check into that to see if there's any other timelines that are shorter. I mean, even maybe it's 60 days, I don't know. But I'll check into that and give you some more information. Let me look into it.
Okay, thank
And
you.
we can always craft something that is a little more detailed here and say that, efforts to remediate must begin within some period of time and must be finished within some different period of time, as opposed to just one time frame.
Yeah, that's what
So I
I
think
was
that's
thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's realistic. You're not gonna be able to fix a problem like that in one day. But you don't want somebody to wait 90 days before starting to
right.
fix it.
Yeah.
Good question. Yes?
Hi, Joe Murphy, High Road. I was wondering if anybody knows what happens to the property values of the residential areas that these.
That has a data
facilities
center
get up against?
I'm not sure of that.
Get back to order.
I couldn't hear him.
So he's saying, do we know what happens to the property values if a data center is next to them? I don't know that we know that answer.
Yeah, I don't think we have that data.
Okay.
And it would probably be like anybody that was near an industrial area, if a factory came in to make shoelaces, I don't know what it does.
That factory wouldn't run 24 hours a day at the sound of a vacuum cleaner. Because I live, is the Reinhardt, the aerospace, Collins Aerospace?
They're an industrial, yes.
Okay, so I live on the other side of that, and I don't hear them, ever. And I believe you said last week that the decibel for that was higher than 67. Someone up there said that the decibel for that was higher than 67, and I live behind it.
Yeah, I'm not
Right,
sure
in
what the
Mill Creek,
decibel
and-
level is.
Yeah, I don't think we,
And it doesn't run 24 hours a day.
Understood.
I don't think we've done a decibel study there.
I'm not aware of one.
I'm not aware of one.
But I think the other issue is, because it's zoned industrial,
I thought you said 85.
someone could buy that property and put a data center there.
Because that's, how big is that property? 14, 17, 16.
Is it 20 acres?
Do we have
13.9.
data on
Oh.
how much noise and, the square footage of a data center gives off? Do we, the bigger the square footage of usage for the computers and stuff like that? Is there any?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
There was a chart.
Yeah, I don't have that chart with me today. There was a chart last week that talked about the standard operation of a data center, if their generator's going, what the noise level is, if it's just its normal running, what the noise level is. I don't have that.
I've got it.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, so, they said the backup diesel generators in use is 110 to 129, and that's like an emergency vehicle siren.
But that's
Backup
that's
diesel.
one generator. If you have a big, that you're trying to power, you have more than one generator.
Right, and that's why we're putting in the decibel level that they have to adhere to. So if they're going to be running and their decibel level's at 100, then they're going to have to put up a sound wall or something
So-
to get it down to the level that's required in the ordinance.
So to give you an idea, normal conversation is considered 60 decibels. Okay? So our requirement is that it's at 57, which would be less than somebody having a conversation. And then
I understand that. I just wanted to know if there's more than one generator that's going to constantly running, that's going to be more than,
Well, and we
loud.
certainly hope, I mean, that's
Yeah.
emergency, that's an emergency generator. We certainly hope that when they come in, well, we hope no one comes in, but,
we do have power
if they do-
outages in Barrett.
right,
Don't they also have to test those generators? What was it, weekly or monthly?
yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carol, you had a question?
Yeah, well, not a question, I wanted, where I was this winter, or this weekend at Sugarloaf, the noise is crackling and humming all the time.
And that's why we're putting in these noise control
Yeah.
provisions.
This is in the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah, understood. Anything on Zoom, Nicole? Questions? Has anyone shown interest in putting a data center? No, we've not received any applications. Anything else?
I went to the police meeting last night for the regional police, and they said that they had spoken to you about the parade, and they're going to have a couple of motorcycles and cars and extra people, so our hours for the month will go up, but that's because of the parade.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I think they have like 6 or 7, somebody driving and then motorcycle units and stuff,
Yeah.
so. And I think Rotary's very happy with the presence they're providing this time.
Yes.
You have anything?
So everybody should come out for the parade.
Biggest one yet. I think they're at 70 floats.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was yesterday when Peter stopped in, so could be even more. Biggest one ever,
That's amazing.
so, yeah. You have anything?
Nothing more than that.
Nothing more? Any other public comments?
So this now goes to the planning commission?
Mm-hmm. Barrett Planning Commission and Monroe County Planning Commission, and they both have 30 days to review. So if there's nothing else, I'd like to make a motion to go in executive session for personnel.
Okay?
Second.
So thank you all for coming out.
I didn't know that it was going to announce. Is there any update on the lights on Evergreen?
Rich has sent out, what,
Yes. There was,
11
There
violations?
was about 7 violation letters that went out to that address.
I'm just curious why they're still on. Because when my permit lapsed on my lodge, I was shut down right away.
They have probably a specified time period to respond to the violation letter. Rich is in tomorrow if you want to contact him, now that the letters have gone out.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, one thing, if this data center was struck by lightning, then what? You know, just suppose.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I guess it'd be shut down. I'm not sure.
The supervisor up here can answer it, like, what if that was just
That's our
struck by
solicitor.
lightning?
Well, I think electronics, if they're hit
They've
by
fried- they've
lightning,
fried.
they're ruined. So
Yeah.
all of the photographs that you sent to the cloud
We'll be
are
gone.
not flying around up in the sky. They're in that data center, and they would be lost unless they had backup somewhere else. I don't know.
Well, that's the big thing. There's really 6 different kinds of data centers. And the reason that all of a sudden there's this huge push is because of all the memory that AI takes up, so that AI can operate.
Okay. So thank you, Todd. I think we're going to go in executive session now. And thank you,
Okay.
Deanna. I think we're finished.
You're welcome.
One more question about the lights. Do they have a time frame that they have to fix all these violations now?
That would be a question for Rich. I'm not sure of the answer to that. But there's definitely something that building code dictates for that.
And I know he sent out the letters.
Yeah, they went out last week.
We should be able to do a right to know for the letters.
Right, that's what I was going to just explain. to
Yeah.
them.
What do you think, Greg?
We could do a right to know and do the letters,
Okay.
see what they got.
Yeah, it should say in there the specific time frame.
I know PP&L took the cameras now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the next day they did.
Not all of them, though, only the ones on the PP&L pole. There's still 3 cameras farther up.
On trees. Okay, so if there's nothing else, we're going to go in executive session. So thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.